Words, etymology, and definitions. If we bite into an apple, we don't need the word apple. We don't eat the word apple, but we eat the apple. And that is exactly what it's all about. If there is nothing verifiable behind the words, what is it really? The point here is not only to find out and to notice what words mean and what their names mean, but also the source, the background, and the effect or the consequences that the words have and carry with them. We have learned to read and write, but never what words really mean, do, or cause as consequences. That's why it's important to take a very close look at what words are, and above all, where they come from, to really notice what is really going on. So we get confronted by words all the time, but we are not going into gematria. Gematria is just another rabbit hole, because anyway, the whole language is made up on mathematics. So you will find all the time any kind of reason to justify what is going on. But it is, of course, Kabbalah, it is pure occult, and of course it is Baal worship. And satanic is, of course, not life, and we will not get any truth out of it or any clarity out of words through gematria. That said, we are not going down any rabbit hole, but we will make everything possible to get clarity about what is really going on with all these words. Language or words, written language, was created mostly to prevent others from things that may happening mythologically, in making interpretation and twisting things in all way. So that is, of course, one of the reasons why people start to even make paints and so on. But before they start to make holes into rocks, they of course had to invent anyway the language to write on it. So to say it was done through that they start with the stone is quite stupid, and not logically at all. So they would mostly start to make with some pieces of wood. But first of all, as said, it is language, written language was created to prevent people from stuff that may happen, stories that they hear, and that they want others from not getting through the same shit again. That's why they have to start to make books to get the message further on. So on one way it is to alert people, to prevent people from things to happen again. Then it became, of course, a whole other purpose of commercial, of shipping and commercial and writing down contracts and so on. And then third, the law, the rules, the law. And of course, many people still think that it is to prevent murder, but it's not to prevent murder, rape, or anything like that, but it is just to handle the commerce again of the birth certificate. So that's three main reasons why language was created, and of course also to preach the kind of doctrine or dogma further on. The problem is that before 1930, 95% of all people in the whole world could not read or write. And before 1800, only 1% of people could read or write. Only the rulers, the ones who are the judge or the kings. Yeah, this was 1% of people who could read or write. Of course, this whole coming out of this whole alchemy stuff and things, but people could not calculate or read or write before 1930. So it's only really recent that people could read or write. So the great books, more books than everything, and people think to learn out of books, but it's not learning experience. It is information, but in information is formation. So you're in formation, your mind get formed as the solution, as we are already. And education means training of animals. But this is what knowledge means. It is indoctrination. It is just to memorize and copy and paste things like, But to get written language, you need rules. And to get rules, you need rulers. So somebody needs some way or another to define what words are used for what purpose. On the other side, it is always a kind of territory or a circumference that can be used for that. So the idea of Freemason is way older than what people think. Yeah, it is an old concept of ruling a certain area. This is what mainly Freemason is all about, and that's also the outcome. And also, again, many people, there's a lot of mystery about what the G could mean, God, geometry, great architect, but the great architect is the goat, the G, the goat, Baphomet, and this is, of course, Baal worship. Again, more for that in another video. So, written language is not something that comes out of evolution, and it was also not created by God. It was more created by priests, but not this kind of priests. Not this kind of priests, but more likely this kind of priests. And they made the whole written language through ritual sacrifice. So every letter, every symbol was always created out of ritual sacrifice. This is one thing. And we can see that through the whole different, as soon as there was empire, there was human, children, ritual, animal sacrifice, still going on until today in many religions. So this is the official story, what they say about where people start to read and write. Of course, they put it Egypt always very much behind and so on. But one question we have to ask is that if the language was created 3,500 years before Christ, until today, until 1930, this would mean we were 5,000 years illiterate. So only 1% of all people in the world would have kept this for 5,000 years only for them, before everyone had the access to this. Just think for a while if this is really the case. Today we have these main symbols of to create words. Yeah, one of the oldest symbols is the spiral that represents the sun, of course. On the other side, some paints that are also would not be here anymore after this time. A lot of them are also fake. So let's not take this one in consideration, but just again, let's think about it. If they 3,500 years before Christ, they start to make holes in the stone and paint and so on, really complicated signs, and they would have only start to make runes with wood, really basic ones, before, this would just mean they were really stupid, and the ones who had, let's go back, the ones who had this kind of knowledge, they would not there was no more intelligent to go into Europe and teach the people how to write over 2,000 years. All these things doesn't fit, right? And on the other side, the runes are from the beach, yeah. And in German it means Buchstaben. That means the beach stick, the stick of the beach, yeah. Because everything logically, it would start that you make some signs into a tree, something more soft, then directly start to put it into stone. And this is what they created from carving into the tree, and then start to make the Buchstaben, yeah, the stick. And then from there we have also like the beach, the Buch, the book, yeah. So this would be way more obvious if they would start to make letters with sticks, wood sticks, and later go into carving into stone. But again, that's of course not an official story, and that's why. But just think differently about what is really going on with all this word stuff. And this was the so-called Druids that probably never existed, but was some kind of initiated preachers who went to on travel and so on. But they have all the same symbols, like Caesar. Caesar claims to be a Druid. So abracadabra means we create as we speak. And this is how you also can create fantasy, right? So the whole magic is already going on into the words from the whole beginning, when the words was created, or even the letters just was created. So just some facts about the Latin alphabet. We have some different sounds, yeah. So when we put the whole thing, so we have the only vocals that need vocals are the A, E, O, U. The ones we need for the throat are these ones: the tongue, the lips, the nose, and the teeth. And the teeth, the S sounds also, it's like the snake sounds. And the J was only came very late into the whole alphabet. They always used the E before, so it always come late. So we have some more letters that are not here, and if you would put them like, or later on into the thing, we have like this kind of all that would be all the S sounds, the snake sounds. So just to think about what would be the word we usually would use, it would not be snake, and it would probably not be throat. So it would definitely be the voice, yeah, and it would be mouth and the tongue. So you can compose the words yourself, yeah, but this is what we think that how the whole sounds, original sounds of the original language, we probably speak just all, without needing for very much more complication, but that's another thing. The alphabetic order of the Latin alphabet is to write from right to left. But it derives from the Semitic Abgad order that is written in the other side. What this means is that the Latin and all the alphabetic language written from right to left would be reversed. We would already read and write reversed. Just keep that in mind. And of course, when we go look who start, there was always from right to left. Excuse me, left, right. I'm confused with left, right. So it is from the left to right or from the right to left. Yeah, excuse myself. And this is when they start to twist it, yeah. The Canaanites start to twist it, and that was the one who worshipped Baal. That became later Baphomet. So again, just to keep in mind that we read and write already reversed, or backwards. And another example, this is in the alphabet, if you can see the different language, how they cross and what is joining in the middle. And we have also just the X in the middle, but if you look very much closely, if you take the B, A, P, H, O, M, E, T, you have Baphomet. So again, another hint just to show that how deeply this whole word stuff is put into magic. So, how get words into our mind? Yeah, or those words just come out of our mind? This would mean that if you look at the tree, that the tree would give us the word. But of course, we know that it's never happening like that. It's always something or someone who tell us the words when we see something, and they explain us what we're gonna see. Yeah. So this is the kind of the way the words get into our mind. Therefore, if we have the word of the tree in our mind, then because we saw the tree, somebody told us this is a tree, and then we get the tree of the word of the tree in our mind. With fantasy, we get the words in our mind, but we never saw it. Okay? So somebody told us the fantasy and shit in our head. But we never saw the things directly. Later on, we saw it on TV and so on, but never in reality. Or storytelling and so on. Words, you need words to create the fantasy. We would say there are three other categories of words, mostly in the law, that are international words that are same in all language. In French, German, Spanish, legal is legal. Everyone knows what it is. International, and that is what we are saying. These words are international, and this is also questionable. How works that we have words that are used internationally, even in Russia and China, they use this kind of words. Nation, police, everyone knows police, yeah, and also like the bibliothèque is also like a word, and bibliothèque means to hold the Bible, and also the Bible, even if it's written a little bit different, or it is pronounced different, but it is always words that are internationally. So there is the ones who say there is not one world order. they just have to think about how could it be, if there's not one world order, that we have already international words that are used legally everywhere. Then we have another part of words, the ones who are always different in each language, but the thing is the same. So the tree, arbre, or water, Eau, Wasser in German, or stone, Stein, Pierre in French. So you have this kind of words of real things have always different names. So this is the kind of diversity we have in the language itself. So real things are mostly the same. Now we have a third category in the law, that the meaning is completely different. The words are completely different, but the legal result is the same. Understanding in English, verstehen in German, and comprendre in French. So if we take these three words, understanding, we stand under a tree, standing under, understand the tree. Then we are in submission of the tree. Verstehen in German means when you stand on the wrong place, or when you are standing on one foot, not with both foot, or when you are floating somewhere, but you are not with both feet on the floor. And in French, comprendre means you take the commerce. The three terms are the same legal terms with the same legal outcome, but they are completely different, but they are all here to create the submission. So when you say I understand, then you stand under, and then you are in submission. We take another example. This is when it comes in front of law, words are very important, because if they ask you if you understand, then you stand under. And that's the same in German, in French, but with different words. So we have words that have the same different legal power, but they mean completely something different. Now, in usual common use, they are also the same. But when you analyze the word itself, it means completely something different. The same with a claim. A claim is a demand of right. In German is Behauptung. That means you cut the head and set up a new head on it. And in French is prétendre. That means you cut the herb in advance. Three completely different interpretation of words, but they have the same legal effect. So if we claim something, then it's a demand. It's not something that we set. So definitions, mostly people have a certain idea or look for hearing a definition, and they look into etymology, they look into law or in dictionaries, and they think they found the result. The problem is it doesn't work like that, because there is not definition by definition is a limitation. So it is only to accept a certain kind of rule, circumference, with the ruler upon it. So to really make the difference and to comprehend what definitions mean, we have to take completely different approach. Like said, definitions, etymology, law, dictionaries, and so on, and people go into etymology and read what is written there. But this is exactly how the fantasy is created, because we just accept the distraction, and we get occupied with the distraction, with the fantasy, instead to really see what is really going on. In an opposite world, we have to turn the things in the opposite way to see how things really are. And this is how we have to make the things. So if we see a definition, we first need to see the result, the idea the people have, yeah, and then get the words to see what is really going on. So let's take an example for peace. A lot of people think peace is just when everything is okay, everything is good, and so on. But to make this happen, there is war needed. And this is also what the outcome is. More and more people ask for peace. We have a peace world organization, and we just have more war, more suppression, more control, because it is a negotiation. It is, if somebody don't want to negotiate, then you ask peace, and if you don't want peace, you're going to make war, that you can make peace, because peace means pax, is a contract. So this again, we see the outcome. The outcome of peace is not to be great, but people think this is what this is, and if you look into the word, you exactly see why the outcome is like that. I take another example of security. So security is to be safe and everything is okay and you have your piece of land. But to have this, you need surveillance. You need control. You need more and more control all the time. And this is what security means. If you want security, it means to be sure. So you have to accept the wall around your garden. That's the outcome of security. So if people ask more security, then is this what they get? Abracadabra. Yeah. The same like with the horizon, also a word, international word again. It doesn't exist, by the way. All the international words like the horizon doesn't exist as such. You never can reach the horizon because the horizon is something that always goes further away as more you approach. So you never can reach the horizon. The horizon is an idea like legal or international or police or Bible. So this is what horizon means. It is just, and when the politicians say the end of the crisis is on the horizon, then it is just like continue to wheel in the hamster wheel or hope for the light at the end of the tunnel and the train will arrive. Like the person also, but we already saw it. Many people think that if somebody, are you this person? They say, yeah, it's me. Well, then you are accepting to play the act in the theater of the Latin Roman theater, and then you fall down the rabbit hole and you can get judged, because only a person can get judged by a judge. A man cannot judge another man. And if you wear the mask, then you can play the act and you can get punished. So it's really important to look at the result of what these words create. And that's why asking people what they think about what the words really mean and looking at the outcome, what words mean, this is what we have to look at. So let's look at some definitions. Yeah. So gematria, we already see many people are falling into this gematria and not coming out anymore. They see numbers and words everywhere, and everyone it's just a rabbit hole. But no wonder, because from Hebrew gematria is transliterated from Greek geometria, see geometry, explanation of the sense of a word by substituting for another word, so that the numerical value of the letters constitute the words is identical. So geometry, measurements of earth, yeah, square and compass, geometry, combining from earth, land, sea, Gaia, metria, measuring of. Okay? So this is already when they start to make geometry. This is to map and to own the land, yeah, to take part of the land. So the metry process of measuring, a measuring of, a measure of, a measure to measure, metry, yeah, meter. By the way, the meter was invented in 1700. And in the pyramid, in the middle of the pyramid, you have a room that use the metric thing for another time. So the me pronoun of the first person in obliged cases. Okay? Obliged, as we already had in Captis, obliged, slanting, sloping, sideway, crooked, not straight or direct. Slanting, sidelong, indirect. Obliged, bound by ties of gratitude, bound by promise, pledge, and rule. Be in bondage, be liable for the payment of, be condemned. Obliged, to bind of oath, put on the moral or legal obligation, devote. Engage one's fate, commit oneself, pledge. To bind, bind up bondage, put under obligation. See ob, linger, or to ob, linger, to bind, oblige, to bind. To tie, bind, to make someone indebted by conferring a benefit of kindness. We are not obliged to anything. We never made an oath. Bind by oath, but under moral and legal obligation, but only by oath. Engage one's fate. This is pledge. So we are not obliged for anything. The words say it. Because the things in the law are always written, we just have to read them. This is what is mainly what is just going on. If we read really the things, we compare them with the grammar, and then see like what is coming, the outcome, what only that it means. If you look into the definitions, you will see that the law is very clear, but we are just too stupid to argument these words. Because we don't know anymore the meaning of the word, we just accept them blindly. So the grammar, the Latin grammar, rules of Latin. Latin is a dead language, so Latin grammar, dead grammar. Learning, magic, incantation, spell, mumbo jumbo. This is what grammars mean. Philosophy, art of letter, systematic account of the rule and use of language, magic, astrology and magic, occult knowledge, Scottish into glamour. Grammarian, writer on Latin, dead grammar, language, philosophist, etymologist, learned man, wise man, person who knows Latin, dead language, magician. So we see it is the whole language, the whole words is full of magic, black magic. Grimoire, magician manual for invoking demons. Incantation, grammar, see grammar, also grammary and glamour. Sentence, yeah. Doctrine, authoritative teaching, okay, in an authoritative pronouncement, sentence, judgment, decisions, meaning, aphorism, maxim, states of authority, thought, way of thinking, opinion, judgment, decision. Be for be of opinion, feel, perceive, see, sense. Judgment rendered by God or by one of authority, a verdict, decision in court. Understanding wisdom's edifying subjects matter. Subjects matter or content of letter, book, speech, etc. Grammatically complete statement. Meaning expressed in words. So when we make sentence, when we read a sentence, then we are already sentencing ourselves. Spelling. Action of reading letter by letter. From spell. Manner of forming words with letter. Spell. Read letter by letter. Write or say the letters of. Form words by means of letters. To tell, to speak, discourse, talk. To say aloud, recite. To speak, preach, talk, tell. Spell the wing, talk in vain. Shakespeare has spelled someone backwards, reversed the character of, explained in a contrary sense, portrayed with determining negativity, like the straw man. Spell, story, saying, tale, history, narrative, fable, discourse, command. Spill, from spill, German spill, to spill something. Myth, German by Spiel, set of words which suppose magical or occult power, incantation, charm. The term spell is generally used for magical procedures which cause harm or force people to do something against their will. Spell, work in place of another, to take the place of, be a substitute for, represent, perhaps related to spilian, to play, spiel, to play, the act, the spell. So everyone knows what the spell is. It is a magical word. So the word, the speech, talk, utter, sentence, statements, news, report, word, a promise. The meaning, promise, was Old English and the technological sense in plural meaning verbal alcanation. A word to the wise, verbum, the word for word, in the exact words of terms. Word of the mouth, word for word, in the exact words of terms. Word of mouth, spoken words, oral communication as distinguished from written words. Okay? So there is clearly a difference between the spoken words and the written language. And this is also how the whole legalese is done. The whole legal language is completely twisted once more. It is dangerous to leave written which is badly written. Okay? It is dangerous to leave written what is badly written. This is only for the ones who want to obey the law. For us, it's not a problem. But only for the lawmaker, they have to write the things perfectly. Otherwise, the whole stuff, the spell, is gone. A change word upon paper may destroy the world. Their world, imagination. This is very important. A changed word upon paper may destroy the world. Okay, one word. So the world, human existence, the affair of life. A long period of time is not the earth. The human race, mankind, humanity. It is the condition to live on earth. The world is, of course, again, a pure occult ritual, and you can also see the crests like Caesar or the Druids or UN. So the verb, a word that asserts or declares. Old French verb from word of God. From Latin verbum, verb, originally a word, to speak, common, vow, agreement, covenant, call, or summon. And also the verb comes from vers, like universe, yeah, univerb, universe, line or section of psalm or canticle, line of poetry, line of verse, rhyme, song, from Latin versus, a line, row, line of verse, line of written, to turn or to bend. Yeah. So again, when we verse something, then it is just to bend. Once more, the universe, the whole world, cosmos, the totality of existing things. All things, everybody, all people, the world, whole world, all together, all in one, whole, entire, relating to all. Into one. Turn it into one. One. To turn back, be turned, convert, transformed, translate, be changed, to turn, bend. This is Baphomet. Again, this is exactly what they want us to know from Baphomet. So Baphomet is the universe. Universe represents Baphomet, the chaos, from where everything comes, Baal, and so on. But just going back quickly to the alphabet, yeah, and to show that you can find it yourself on the alphabet Wikipedia. Here we can see again Baphomet is here, and also that the basic ordering of Latin alphabet, which derives from the Northwest Semitic Abjad order. So when you look into the Abjad order and where this whole thing starts, so you see here, right to left, 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 until here, left to right. Bedekanite, again, worshipping Baal, yeah, or the owner, or anytime you hear Lord, then this is what you have. Baal, yeah, pagan worship. So the definition of definition again, decision, setting of boundaries, determination in a stating of limits and distinguished nature of things, limitations, a statement of being, of meaning of words or phrase, a bounding, a boundary, a limiting, prescribing, a definition, explanation, act of stating what something means, degree of distinguished of the details in a picture. So it is indoctrination, it is limitation, it is to put the rule on it, to put the compass on it, so you are limited in a Masonic way. Here we have a definition. Oh yeah, this is just let's make this like that. If we arrive to make it, yeah. A definition ought to contain every idea which belongs to the things defined and exclude others. But again, when you go in front of a judge and you start to correct the words, they say, but you are playing with the words. Well, the answer can be, but you are not respecting the law, because the law are words. So they have to listen to it. They cannot just ignore it. This is not possible. And here is something else. Let's here. A definition should be first universal, Baphomet, but all in one, as such that it will apply equally and individuals that same kind of the same kind. Proper that is such that is not to apply to any other individuals or any other kind. Clear that is without any equivoque, vague or unknown word. Short as it is, without any useless words of any foreign to the idea intent to be defined. This is for the law. So they can't mess around with words. we can. Let's see. Yeah, further on. Something else is that this Roman law have come already very far, yeah, and it is or this whole the Roman civil code and also the common law, they are quite old written laws, but they are still in the same context. If they are still applied today, we still have to know where this stuff is really coming from. So if you see that this stuff, where it is coming from, we simply don't have to trust. So why should we use it? So again, abracadabra, magical formula, serenus somnicus, Greek abraxas, Kabbalistic or Gnostic name for supreme God, thus a word of power, in written out in a triangle shape of worn around the neck or to warn a sickness. And also, we'll look what this is. Lamb of God. Lamb of God. Yeah, from Abra. And I don't know why they are using Lamb of God. And also the abraxas, of course, another occult symbol. And this Serenus Samonicus, yeah, also put some magical stuff on it. Yeah, we could, there are some different Freemason ciphers also, but of course it always generates some kind of magical stuff. So just for the end, hierarchy, rank in a sacred order, one of the 3 divisions of the 9 orders of angels, rules domination. So this is interesting. One of the 3 divisions of the 9 orders of angels. We had that somewhere. Let me show you where we had that. We had that in the word where you can see Baphomet in the middle. Yeah, you have of the 9 orders of angels. Yeah, 3 of the 9 orders of angels is make 3, 3. So in the middle you have again the sacred order of Baphomet. The rule, the domination, ranked divisions of angels, rule of the highest priest, high priest, leader of sacred rites, from the hiera, the sacred rite, hieros, sacred, see ire, to lead, rule, see archon, ranked organization of person or things. Yeah, if you want to see archon, maybe just quickly. Means again the ruler or the chief magistrate. Yeah, one of the 9 chief magistrate of the ancient Athens. Again, we have it in the ruler, the commander, the chief, the captain. To be first, to begin from with, make preparation for, also to rule and lead the way, govern, rule over, lead of. Archon. Okay? Just let's, okay. So, at the end, the mask to take part in a masquerade. A sense now obsolete. Not so sure. Disguised feelings, etc. Military sense of conceal. So if you want to know more or a longer video about or more about the grammar, language, symbol, and law, we have this video on the YouTube. And just like let's make a little resume, the summary. It's not about looking at the definition and blindly accepting what is said, but first to observe the effects and the consequences. See what the words trigger in us and in others. So we have to question the other, what they think, what the word really mean, and then go look into what is really going on. And it's really important to look how the restrictive, limited perspective came about with this sole definition, and who use them and what moment we are confronted with them. And it's not about memorizing everything again and to just reprogram the whole mind to remember all the twisted words, but just to look at closely when we come into contact with fancy words or people who use fancy words, and otherwise ask what they really want to say with them. Yeah, ask people if they use fancy words, what they really mean by them. But as soon as it is fancy word, and it is in law, every word become fancy because it can be used in any way. If there is apple, if we can see the apple, then it's not really a problem. We can verify it itself. But if there is no apple behind the word, then we have to really start to questions, because all these fictional idea start exactly there, and the consequences can be the opposite of what we imagine. And it's not about not using words no more, yeah, but it's about to be conscious what these words really do, and to get responsible for every word that is come out of our mouth. Thanks for watching.